Hi, everyone. Welcome back to Sallies Podcast. Today's guest is Sallie. Hi, Sallie.
Hi.
Thank you so much for being a guest today on the podcast.
Well, thank you so much for having me. I'm very happy to be here.
Me too. I'm really excited to talk about what you specialize in today.
Okay.
So can you tell our listeners about what EFT is and Evolved NLP? I've never heard of those things, so I'm excited to learn.
Yeah, absolutely. So EFT and Evolved NLP are types of energy psychology. And the idea of energy psychology is that we have an energy field in our bodies that we can actually consciously tap into to promote health and well-being and all of those wonderful things. And so with EFT, it's emotional freedom techniques, and it's based on the energy meridian points that are the same that are used for acupuncture and acupressure, only no needles. So that's the good part, right? And the idea is when we tap on those meridian points, we can actually get our energy into alignment, and we can promote health and well-being. And very similar with NLP, Neurolinguistic Programming. It's based on how we process emotion or how we process information. Mm-hmm. And once we figure that out, then it's easier to identify those patterns and behaviors that we have that we would like to change. So with EFT and NLP in combination, people can really get some rapid, concrete results in changing habits and behaviors and beliefs about themselves.
Wow. Have you had a lot of success going about these techniques?
Yes, absolutely. It is amazing. I've been working with people with EFT for about 16 years now, I guess, and a variety of situations, people who want to change habits like smoking and nail biting and road rage and all those things. And then people who have experienced trauma and abuse in their lives, people who are experiencing physical pain, all of those kinds of things. We can work with EFT to get dramatic, rapid, very positive changes for them.
Wow. Ooh, I'm going to have to try that on your coaching.
Yeah.
So can you tell our listeners what type of courses and programs you provide for your clients?
Absolutely. So some of them, I call it the spot treatment, where somebody wants to come in for a session of EFT or NLP to address a particular issue. And the thing about EFT and NLP, it's not just, let's address the bad things like remedial stuff. You can also use it aspirationally to really help you with positive goals, like to be more focused and to have, a better attitude, all those positive things that we all want in life. And so there are those kinds of sessions. And then I offer some formal programs in EFT and NLP, a personal peace procedure, breakthrough and break free. And then I also have a signature program that is called Reboot Your Thinking, how to install and uninstall mind apps. And mind apps are paradigms. I updated the language.
Wow. So within your programs and your courses, do you ever do group courses and programs, or is it just individual?
I do both. Some people want to do an individual approach because when we start looking at past trauma, limiting beliefs and decisions, that can be very personal and people may not want to share it in a group. Yeah. And then there are other situations where group setting is absolutely perfect.
Yes, because then other people get feedback from their peers and then get advice. I like the group setting.
Yeah, because it's all about building that community to really support each other.
Yep, exactly. So can you tell our listeners a little bit about your podcast?
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you. So it's called High Frequency Mindset. And I talk to all kinds of people, business owners, coaches, people who work in the nonprofit sector, all kinds of people, because I really love the stories that they have. And I think it's fascinating to hear how they got where they are doing what they're doing in life. And then kind of the common theme is I always ask people, what is an overarching principle that you see in your life and your business that you believe has helped you with your success? And so it could be something like law of attraction or mindset or any number of things. And that's what's fascinating, to hear how other people are motivated to be positive.
Yeah, I love it. I'm gonna have to give your podcast a listen to. Hopefully it'll help me.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it.
So where can my listeners find your podcast and listen to them?
So it's on webtalkradio.net and webtalkradio.com. And it's also on my website, salliewagner.com.
Okay. Yeah, definitely. I'm gonna check that out.
Thank you.
So I wanted to speak a little bit about your books that you have, Reboot Your Thinking, Impact 30 Days to Courage, and then you have 2 new books that are coming out. So
yes,
tell our listeners a little bit about all your books.
Okay, thank you. So the first book that I did was called Reboot Your Thinking, and it's a quick overview of my reboot coaching program. Just touching on some very basic concepts, especially MSG, which is a little acronym. It stands for mindset, skill set, get off your asset, because we have to take action to make anything happen, right?
I like it.
And then Impact is a book that came out last year. It's a book of business acronyms, and I'm a contributing author, and my chapter was on MSG. Probably no surprise there. Last month, on March 31st, I had a book that came out called 30 Days to Courage, and I've been a contributor to that book. And we had #1 bestseller. Impact made #1 bestseller as well. And then kind of a sneak preview, in the next 4 weeks, I'm going to have 2 more books coming out as a contributing author. And we're really hoping to hit #1 on those as well.
Yeah, definitely. So I do have a question. So within your books, have you ever thought about creating a workbook to go along with your books, kind of like what Dave Ramsey does?
Yes, actually, I am in the process of creating a self-directed workbook for my Reboot Your Thinking program.
Ooh, yeah. So you're
so people can do that. Yeah, they could get the workbook and kind of work through it on their own.
Yeah, because I feel like with books like Reboot Your Thinking, if it came with a workbook, I feel like it'll be easier for people to guide along, and then it'll help them. That's what Dave Ramsey does.
Yes, I know.
It helped me a little bit. Like I still can't say, but I'm trying. But what advice would you give our listeners who want to hire a coach like yourself, but are on the fence about it? Like, don't want to do it.
So, I think the first thing is to get some clarity around what you want to accomplish, because each coach is going to have a different approach. That kind of rhymes, doesn't it? and it's important to get the right coach. I mean, I've had fabulous coaches, and I've had coaches that were not so fabulous, and it was a horrible experience, right? So you want to make sure that you are a good match for the person you're going to be working with. And also, if you have any special things in your background, like trauma and, different kinds of adverse experiences, you want to make sure you choose somebody who is aware of that, because there are many times when the coach actually can end up blaming the client when the client is not progressing in the way that they think. And it could be because of trauma, because trauma can hold us back from really moving forward in the direction we want to move in life.
That's true. So do you help with trauma? Like, do you help? You do?
Yeah, I do. I'm certified in trauma aware coaching. And then, of course, with EFT and NLP, those are good ways to approach trauma in a low impact, low trauma environment, which is the key, because you don't want to re-trigger trauma, right?
Great. I feel like coaches are I wouldn't say better at at like helping their clients with trauma, but I feel like with my experience dealing with coaches, it's better than a therapist. I don't know. It's just from my experience.
Yeah, well, and I would agree. I mean, I'm not certainly not going to say people should not go to therapy and counseling, because it can be very beneficial. My personal experience is when you go, it just kind of stirs the pot, and I would leave feeling worse than when I went. So
Exactly. So is there anything else you want to share with my listeners today, or?
Oh, I just really appreciate the opportunity to talk with you and present to them. And I would just like to, just a reminder, because many times we have limiting beliefs and decisions that hold us back in life, and they're not true. And so what I would encourage people to remember is it's not what you don't know that holds you back. It's what you do know that's not true that holds you back. So if you're holding yourself back, most likely what you're telling yourself is not true.
Yes, that's true. That's true. I do have one final question, and I'll let you go, I swear. So what is an alchemist? Like I saw it in Europe, I was like, what is an alchemist?
Yeah. So an alchemist is somebody who does magic, really. You kind of take one thing and you transform it into something else. And so I feel like just when I see the changes in people when we work together, it just looks so transforming. I mean, they look different. They carry themselves differently, and it's like magic. It's like alchemy. They become something else.
I love it. I want to thank you so much, Sallie, for coming on my podcast today and chatting with me.
Thank you so much for inviting me. I have truly enjoyed our conversation.
You have a great day.
Thanks. You too.
Bye.
Bye.
Hey everyone, I want to thank you all so much for listening to my interview with Sallie. Like she said, you can go on her website, and you can also go on her website to find her podcast as well, which I am definitely going to hop on over there and give a few of them a listen to. So I hope you all go check that out as well. And I just want to greatly appreciate everyone for the support I have received from my podcast and the feedback I have received from my podcast. I really, really greatly appreciate it. I hope y'all have a great day, and I hope you all check out some of my other interviews, which I will post right